Exactly. Well, I'm glad you're kind of out of the way of it. So
Yes,
that's good.
everything is good. Thank you. So we can go ahead and get on to talking today about advanced planning, I guess, and making some smart financial and planning decisions as people enter late adulthood. Sheri, I wonder if you could briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little about where your expertise lies.
Certainly. My name is Sheri Samotin, and I am the founder of LifeBridge Solutions, which is a business focused on helping older adults and the people who love them, mostly their adult children, deal with the business of life. And our expertise is in the area of life transition coaching, helping people, kind of plan for their futures of where and how they want to age and be cared for and how they're going to pay for that, as well as daily money management, which is all of the day-to-day managing the mail, paying the bills, dealing with Medicare and insurances and all of the paper monster. And then finally, I serve as a professional fiduciary and a registered professional guardian.
Okay, let's talk specifically about fiduciary services. Can you describe what they are and why it's so important to think about guardianship and power of attorney and those things as people age?
Certainly. Fiduciary services, in a nutshell, are all of the roles that are played when you cannot handle things for yourself. So, you may not be able to handle things for yourself temporarily. For example, let's say you've had an illness or an injury and you have to have surgery and you're hospitalized, and so it may be just a temporary thing, or you may be traveling or in the military. So there's lots of reasons why you may need a fiduciary even when you're well and younger and all of that. But generally, it's when people become incapacitated, either physically or more often cognitively, and can no longer handle their own affairs, or once he's passed away. So there's sort of a couple of different kinds of fiduciary. The first is a durable power of attorney, and this is someone who steps into your shoes as your agent for financial and business matters. The second is your healthcare surrogate, or in some states called your healthcare proxy or healthcare power of attorney, and this is the person that you name who can make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you can't.
Okay.
The next is if you have a trust, and so if part of your estate plan is that you've established a trust, you generally will be the trustee while you're alive and able to do so, but then you have to name a successor trustee, and that successor trustee then is a type of fiduciary. And then there's a personal representative or executor of your estate. So once you pass away, in your will, you name someone, and again, this depends on the state, whether it's called an executor or a personal representative. They're interchangeable. But that's the person who has to settle your estate and is responsible legally for wrapping up your affairs. And those are the types of fiduciaries you can name while you are living and have capacity. If you don't do that, so if you don't name anyone, or you name people without, who can't serve or who passed away before you or won't serve or whatever, so in other words, if you enter a situation where you either haven't named anyone or you've named people who can't or won't serve, then you require a guardian. And in some states, that's called a conservator. If it's dealing with your assets, it's a conservator, and if it's your person, it's a guardian. In other states, it's called a guardian of the person or guardian of the property. Again, that's kind of it's very similar. And that is a court-appointed position where you can name something called a pre-need guardian. So you could say, if all else fails, here's who I'd want to be my guardian.
Okay.
But most often, guardians come into play for people who haven't planned ahead and named those other things that I just mentioned.
Okay. So you actually are a registered guardian within the state of Florida.
Correct.
Okay, and so you would step in at the time that somebody else would not be available. You would be then named by the state, is that true?
It's actually named by the court.
By the courts. Okay.
And that's the court in our circuit, in our county, so it's a local thing.
Right.
Where I'm what's called court appointed
okay.
as the guardian.